What do you think about the funding of Ukraine?
No, I don't think that should happen.
Why not?
Because we need to take care of America first.
America first? I agree, but
America first.
I'd make the argument that funding Ukraine is exactly how we put America first, because a lot of people think we're sending cash bags, but we're sending old military equipment, right? And after we send that military equipment, we get to create new American jobs to restock and repile that, right?
That's a good point.
On top of
That's a
that,
good point.
do you think Vladimir Putin's our enemy?
Not really,
Really, why not?
because I think he's trying to run his own country, and he's not. I don't think he is a threat to America.
It's okay that he's running his own country, but the problem is when he starts to invade other countries next to him. So we should protect sovereign countries. We should protect our allies, essentially, right?
I agree.
So-
That's like us trying to invade Canada.
And that wouldn't be okay.
Right.
So to piece my argument together, we're creating new American jobs, and in the process, we get to protect an ally, a sovereign country, Ukraine, from, I think Vladimir Putin is a dictator. He's a threat. He's not a good guy. So I think we're protecting America's interests. I think this is exactly how we put America first, right? Can you see that point of view?
That is a very good point. That's a good point. You've educated me a lot. I appreciate that.
Awesome, and we're both coming from the same point of view of putting America first.
Right.
How can we put America first on the world stage? And sometimes it scares me when they say, we put America first by letting Vladimir Putin do what he wants. That doesn't make sense.
Right. How old are you?
21.
You're very wise for your age.
Thank you. I've really appreciated talking to you.
It's good talking to you.
I want you to understand, Russia is with us. They're with Trump.
Russia is with us?
Russia is with Trump.
Russia's not with the USA. One of their main goals is to
Putin
destabilize.
is with Trump. I guarantee it.
You think so?
You just don't know yet.
That's not the flex you think it is, though. Putin is a bad faith actor who invades countries, has imperial ambitions.
Well, why does Trump get along with him then? Trump gets along with everybody. North Korea, everybody. Everybody likes Trump.
Yeah, that's something to think about.
Well, I think my position's more libertarian on that one, which is let's pull everything out. Let's stop supporting these people. They kind of did it to themselves. I don't like Zelensky or anything he's doing. Basically, it was their fault they're in this war in the first place. Let's get it out of our American involvement. We shouldn't be there in the first place. Let's stop spending our money over there. And, what happens, happens. It's not our business.
Can I tell you how I view the war?
Yeah, sure.
So basically, if you look at what we're sending not sending cash. We're sending a lot of old stockpiled military equipment from the 90s that's already nearing its expiration. So we're sending that over there, and in the process, the Ukrainians are able to defend their border against an authoritarian threat. I think we both probably dislike Putin. Putin, you don't like him?
No, not very much.
Yeah, obviously he's just a bad dude, and he's shown repeatedly that he has imperial ambitions. He keeps invading his next door neighbors, and finally in 2019, Zelensky doesn't have to be perfect, but he is more friendly with the U.S. than Putin is.
Definitely.
Putin saw that. He said, okay, Ukraine is becoming more Western aligned. It's time for me to invade. He did that, and now we're sort of kind of protecting Western ideals by telling Putin, hey, you can't just go and invade your next door neighbor. Like, under international law, that's not something that should be allowed, because if we set the precedent, that's fine. Xi Jinping will go invade Taiwan and think that the U.S. will not do anything. So, can you see where I'm coming from there?
Definitely. And I think the way I view it is what Ukraine represents, sure, might be more trending towards the Western values, but they also represent another authoritarian government. Zelensky is no peach, and they do still have a lot of problems that in the Western civilization, you just can't have those. We might think we're defending our ideals, we might show that, but it's more like we are aggravating Russia. We are going against Russia. We're making them the enemy again. Haley wants to send the drones in.
Yeah.
I liked Trump's stance of let's make peace with Russia. Because if Russia's working with Western society, of course there's going to be some bleed over.
Yeah.
Things are going to calm down. Maybe we can stop spending so much on defense. And if Russia's our ally, what's China going to do? Nothing. So instead of raising these tensions, let's settle. I liked Vivek Ramaswamy's point on this, actually. Let's settle with them. Let's let them keep what they take. Let all the people who are in those captured territories come over if they want. Let the people who want to stay.
Yeah.
And just stop the war. Stop the escalation, and get back to peace talks.
I actually asked Vivek Ramaswamy about this exact thing, and what I said is that... So if you look at the history of Russia, one of their core strategies during wartime is to start wars, stop them when it serves their interest, then reignite them down the road. And we know that Vladimir Putin's a bad faith actor. He broke the Budapest Memorandum. So how are you going to ensure that down the road he doesn't reignite these wars and inch us closer to World War III?
Yeah, the world's a jungle. You don't find saints anywhere. So do I trust Vladimir Putin? Absolutely not. Is he a craven dictator? Absolutely he is. But can we bet on him following his self-interest just like he can bet on us following ours? Yes, we can. You know, follow up quickly and then we're going to wrap.
Yeah, really quickly. So one of Russia and China's shared goals is to destabilize the West. So what interest are you going to introduce to Putin to supersede that?
Yeah, so you got and this is a great question. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
21.
I appreciate 21-year-old guy asking smarter questions than most of the media about foreign policy. Most people aren't even paying attention to the Russia-China line, so I'm glad for that. You got to look for kinks in the armor, right? Putin actually doesn't enjoy being Xi Jinping's little brother right now. So we have to have the fortitude to be able to see that. We have to look through the prism of what advances the American interest. And the top priority is pull Russia apart from the Chinese military alliance, thereby reduce the risk of World War III.
Putin is a bad faith actor. In the past, what they do is they pause wars, then they reignite those wars down the road. So what will happen with Ukraine is, you know how he invaded Crimea in 2014? And then
going a bit back now, but yes.
They paused that. They reignited it a decade later. That's exactly what they do now. If Trump tried to create peace, Putin would just pause it and play us as fools and then reignite that war down the road, because it is all about his imperial ambitions. He wants to restore the former Soviet Union, which he's repeatedly said in like books and stuff like that. He's shown by invading Georgia, invading Crimea, of course. So it just feels like any sort of peace deal with Putin is just...
I understand why you think that, and I will actually point you towards North Korea for that one. Trump brought Kim Jong-un into what I would consider a Western civilization. He brought him to Singapore and they had their peace talks. And you had Kim Jong-un looking around and Trump whispering in his ear saying, this could be you. And I think a very similar thing would have been happening with Putin. Basically,
right after that, North Korea like amped up the rocket testing and stuff like that. So he really didn't quell those tensions too much.
I think he made landmark progress. Sure, they were still testing. China was still funding them. I think there's certainly a role being played there. But Kim Jong-un was definitely hearing what Trump was saying.
If you guys liked those 4 different conversations on Ukraine, make sure to leave a blue heart in the comments and tell me which one you liked the most. In the first one, I changed a dude's mind on Ukraine. And the second one, some crazy dude tells me that Putin is with Trump, which he may be right on that. The third one is my interaction with Vivek Ramaswamy. And then finally, I talked to a fellow Gen Zer who I thought was pretty cool, was pretty smart, but I still have some fundamental disagreements with. Firstly, I disagree with his idea that Ukraine and NATO brought this upon themselves. Putin says he doesn't want NATO on his border, but NATO has already been on his border in the form of the Baltics for decades. Secondly, right-wingers like to use this argument that NATO is provocative because it only exists to stop Russia, to contain Russia. But my question is, to contain Russia from doing what? Invading other countries throughout Europe? Because that's why we see European countries yearning to join NATO. That's why Finland, that's why Sweden just recently joined the alliance, because they see this looming authoritarian threat. So when Ukraine, a sovereign country whose citizens want to be more Western aligned, that's why they elected Zelensky, when these citizens say eventually they want to join NATO, eventually they want to be closer with the US rather than Russia, and Russia takes that as some form of aggression, that is on Vladimir Putin. He has these ambitions to expand Russia and to invade neighboring countries. So when you have this expansionist, imperialist state, and then you have an alliance that is more Western aligned to contain it, you cannot blame the invasion on the preventative alliance, only on the aggressor. Secondly, he says that Trump could have made Putin more Western aligned, which I think fundamentally misses Vladimir Putin's interests. Vladimir Putin, from the bottom of his heart, hates liberal democracy. He thinks the West needs to be saved from itself. He thinks that homosexuality is some form of degeneracy. All of these things he truly believes from the bottom of the heart, and he said himself. That's why when Ukraine began to become more liberalized and wanted to become more Western aligned, he immediately invaded. So as nice as it is to think you can just snap your fingers and have Vladimir Putin more Western aligned, that will never happen. Deep down, he will always want to restore the Soviet Union by expanding his territory. And when it comes to Kim Jong-un, I'm not sure Trump did make him more Western aligned. Trump was the first president to legitimize him on the world stage by meeting with him like that. And then right when Trump left, Kim Jong-un just ramped up rocket testing because he knew that Trump would not say anything. So it actually had the opposite effect. But my name is Mockler. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe, comment a blue heart, and have a great day.